Hello everyone, welcome to today's news charter. Let us begin with the prelims practice question of the day. Take a look at this question. Which one of the following is a very significant aspect of Champaran Satyagraha? So this question is from modern history, and Champaran Satyagraha is one of the most important movements in the history of India. So we need to know about it very well. If you have studied about it very clearly, you can answer it very easily. It is a very easy question. Let's look at the options. The first one, active all India participation of lawyers, students, and women in the national movement. This did not happen. Champaran Satyagraha was with respect to Champaran only. It did not spread to other parts of the country. So this is wrong. Active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities in this movement. It was actually a peasant movement, so tribes were not involved in it. That is wrong. With a drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation crops and commercial crops. Drastic decrease did not happen. So that is also wrong. Joining of peasant unrest to India's national movement. As I mentioned, it is a peasant movement, and from here on, peasants became a very important part of the Indian national movement, and that's why Champaran Satyagraha is very important. Let's start with the topics of the day. The first topic, Asha workers. So recently there was a very good article in Hindu about Asha workers, the problems faced by them, etc. So from the examination point of view, all we need to know is the basics about Asha workers. Who are they? What are their functions? And what kind of remuneration they are getting from the government. The program was launched in 2005-6. It was a part of National Rural Health Mission. Initially, it was in the rural areas only. Later, it got spread to the urban areas also. One most significant point about ASHA workers, this is the largest community health worker program in the entire world. It is the largest community health worker program ever. So it is a very important point. So what these people do, ASHA workers are generally women. They act as healthcare facilitator in a particular region. So for example, there is a ASHA worker in a particular village. She would have very good relationship with all the members of the community. She will take care of the health needs and necessities of the community. She will provide the basic guidance that is required also. So she will be a healthcare facilitator. She will be a service provider to generate awareness on health issues. So when COVID happened, ASHA workers played a very major role in reducing the spread of COVID in their region. ASHA workers are not recognized as a government workers because they are not full-time employed. They are part-time volunteers only. They are getting remuneration, but they are not proper government employees. Have honorary or volunteer position. So the major requirement for ASHA worker, she should be a literate woman, preferably someone who has completed 10th grade is considered for this. The center will pay a basic honorarium of 2000 rupees per month. Apart from that, based on the performance, based on the activities the worker has got herself involved, a maximum of 1500 rupees will be provided. So 2000 plus 1500 to a max, a person who is involved in ASHA can earn 3500 rupees per month, not more than that. Regional benches of Supreme Court, one of the most important topics for mains examination because judiciary comes under the topics that is mentioned in general studies too. So you need to study about the problems faced by the judiciary. One of the major problem is Supreme Court is inaccessible to the general population because Supreme Court has just one bench that is in Delhi. Apart from that, we do not have any regional benches. So several law commissions and several other commissions have already recommended to create regional benches in at least 4 different cities. For example, Kolkata, Chennai, Mumbai, and some other place, maybe Hyderabad or some other place. You can create some regional benches so that it will be easy for the people to go and access the court. They do not have to travel from different corners of the country to Delhi if they have some legal problems. So recently, the law ministry has accepted the recommendation to establish regional benches. However, just because the law ministry has accepted, it will not happen. The judiciary has to give permission for it. So the matter is still sub judice. It is under hearing. So at present, we cannot conclude anything. But from examination point of view, you need to have some firm ideas, firm points to tell. It is because of these points we can tell that regional benches are good. First thing, 18th Law Commission. 18th Law Commission has already mentioned the constitutional bench shall be in Delhi and four other cassation benches be set up. Cassation is a procedure that is followed in France. In France, anything that is related to the question of constitution will be dealt by the Supreme Court that is in place in Paris. In other places, they have some other regional benches also. For they will take care of all the other civil cases and simpler cases. So in the same way, India also can have a constitutional bench set up in Delhi, which will deal only with constitutional cases. The rest of the cases can be dealt by regional benches. So this is the idea given by 18th Law Commission. The constitutional provision which you should know here is Article 130. In Article 130, it is mentioned that Supreme Court shall sit in Delhi or in any other places as mentioned by Chief Justice of India based on the approval of the president. So this is the reason I told, just because the central government mentioned that we will establish regional benches, it will not happen. It is for the Supreme Court Chief Justice to give permission to approve for the approval of such regional benches based on the approval of president. Little more than 80,000 cases are currently pending. They are sub judice. And out of this, the most important point here is 60,000 cases are civil cases. 80,000 cases are pending, out of which 60,000 cases are actually civil cases. So these cases can be dealt very easily if you are constructing a regional bench. India should take inspiration from other countries who have already done it. The best example is France, which I have already mentioned. A separate court of appeal and courts of cassation is already there, a proposal recommended by the Law Commission of India. So based on the France model, India can also form different regional benches. Interpol was in news recently because Interpol has mentioned that some countries are trying to misuse the blue corner notice. So all we need to know is what exactly is the function of Interpol and what are the different types of notices. When they talk about blue notice, do not restrict yourself with blue notice. Read about all the 7 different types of notices provided by Interpol. What is Interpol? International Criminal Police Organization. It has totally 196 member countries, founded in Vienna, Austria, in 1923 itself. So Interpol was founded even before the United Nations organization, remember it. Interpol is not a police force which will go to all over the world and try to maintain law and order. That won't happen. Law and order will has to be taken care by individual states only. Interpol is a information sharing network to enable national police forces to combat transnational crimes. For example, drug trafficking. Drug trafficking can start from one country. They usually sell the drugs to other countries. So when multiple countries are involved, it is the Interpol which will act as a mediator to transfer information from one country to another country, coordinate their functioning. So this is the function of Interpol. So Interpol has 7 different types of notices. You need to know about it. First and the most important notice here is a red corner notice. If the Interpol has given a red corner notice against a particular person, that person has to be extradited to some country in which he is considered as a criminal. For example, if a terrorist attacks India and escapes to some other place, India can go for red corner notice, and if the Interpol accepts it, it is very clear that any country in which this terrorist is living has to be transferred back to India, extradited to India. So this is a basic idea. What is blue corner notice? Blue corner notice is called as inquiry notice. So anyone on whose name a blue corner notice is provided, wherever he is, that country has to provide information about his presence. And this is the notice which is generally misused. For example, any person who is criticizing a government, and if he escapes from that country, goes to some other country, this country will provide a blue notice. And if it is accepted, then the other country should provide information about this person. So his identity, his secrecy, his privacy, everything is breached here. Green notice to warn about a person's criminal activity. Yellow notice to locate a missing person. Black notice to seek information on unidentified dead bodies. Orange notice to warn of an event. If there is going to be some possible crime that will be conducted in future, if they have got some information about it, then they give orange notice. Purple notice to provide information on modus operandi of criminal, how a criminal will work. What is the modus operandi? What are the methods he will be using? What kind of crime he or she can commit? So this comes under purple notice. So seven notices are there. Red to extradite a person, blue to get information about the person, green notice about a person's criminal activity, yellow to locate a missing person, black notice to find out about a dead body, orange notice to inform about possible future attacks, purple notice to inform about the modus operandi, that is a way or method of functioning. Try to remember everything for prelims examination, it is very important. Coronal mass ejection from the sun. So anything about astronomy, about space is very important. So what exactly is coronal mass ejection and why it is in news? There is a observatory, that is plasma analyzer package for Aditya. Plasma analyzer package was sent into the space by India's Aditya L1 spacecraft. This has found out the impact of coronal mass ejections. So we need to know what exactly is coronal mass ejection. Corona is the outermost layer of sun, the outermost atmosphere of sun, and it is from the corona most of the plasma comes out. Light and everything that comes out of space comes from the corona only. So what exactly is coronal mass ejection? At some point, what happens is sun has a lot of magnetic flux that is going around it. At certain point in the sun's magnetosphere, it realigns itself. The magnetic fluxes will realign itself. When they realign, heavy amount of energy is spewed out of the corona. So in this energy, there will be plasma and magnetic field also. Plasma will be there, magnetic field will be there. They are ejected from sun's corona. That is called as coronal mass ejection. Two things. One is magnetic field. Second one, plasma. Try to remember it. They can travel to a very far distance. They come and collide with Earth's magnetosphere also. What is magnetosphere of Earth? Earth has magnetic properties. It has North Pole, it has South Pole, and we have a magnetic region around Earth. When this electromagnetic field comes and impacts with the Earth's magnetosphere, the Earth's magnetic conditions will not work properly, due to which our electrical grids will get affected. Electrical grids will get affected. So this is why we need to study about coronal mass ejection. So highly twisted magnetic field structure in the sun's lower corona becomes extremely stressed. Sometimes high amount of magnetic field will be there. So stress will be very high. Whenever stress is high, it has to release some energy to reduce the stress. So they realign themselves, which will result in releasing of high amount of plasma and high amount of magnetic field also. We have discussed about plasma in our earlier classes. You can go through the last videos. You will get a good idea about it. So for science and technology, this topic is very important. For the mains question of the day, judicial pendency is a major problem in India. How could the judiciary overcome this problem? I have already discussed about it in the previous topic. So apart from constructing regional benches, you can come up with several other ideas also. The government should try to promote arbitration instead of getting into conviction and cases, because cases goes on for long. You can come up with more importance to tribunals, reduce the amount of cases in Supreme Court, reduce the amount of have a proper screening mechanism for all the PLAs, so that we will not come up with a lot of unnecessary cases. So these kind of things you can mention. You can think about judiciary and you can come up with your own suggestions also. For prelims examination point of view, this particular topic is very important. What is guinea worm disease? Guinea worm disease in India has been completely eliminated. It is a parasitic disease caused by Dracunculus medinensis. Dracunculus medinensis is a parasite which causes the guinea worm disease. In India, it has been completely eliminated, and the World Health Organization has told recently that this disease will be eliminated very soon from the world. Even in Africa, this disease persistence has reduced to a greater extent. This disease is very deadly because this particular worm will enter into the human body through the skin as a larva, and it will develop inside the skin, and it will become a very big insect, and it will come out of the wound. And because of this, too much of infection happens. Wherever the person goes, the larva will keep spreading, and it will keep spreading to the human beings. So because of this, it is one of the very deadly diseases. More than 90% of guinea worm infection manifest in legs and feet. India has eliminated it in the 1990s itself. How does it spread? It spread through drinking water that contains guinea worm larvae. So these are all the most important topics for today. Study well. All the best. Let's meet tomorrow.